Alright, new age spirituality. Let's talk about this shit. So look, a little bit about me. I'm a spiritual nigga, but I was never spiritual because of a Bible, because of some new age shit. I was just inside my room one day and became spiritual. Never heard. You serious, bro? The fuck? Anyway, I never had to motherfucking like see a video, read a Bible. Like I never had no spiritual information told to me. I just became spiritual one day because I'm like, yo, obviously some shit made this. And ever since I had that realization, I connected with that thing every single day since then. You feel me? And I got to the point that I'm at right now. Now with that shit being said, right? Spirituality. Check my hair. Hold up. I can't even see that shit for real. But when it comes to new age spirituality, right? Understand that spirituality in and of itself is not new age. Spirituality is older than religion. However, the new age shit that's going on, I'm not gonna lie, cuz you gotta be a little bit careful because like depending on who's teaching it and where it's coming from, bro, that shit does border the line to Satanism, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. Like some real nigga shit, bro, coming from a nigga who could leave their body and shit and could fucking like, you know, and who knows manifestation, all that. You feel me? Coming from a nigga like that, I'm gonna tell you right the fuck now, bro. That new age shit, bro, is crossing into Satanism. And the reason why is because, right, the main teaching of we are gods, that one right there is what is starting to cross the line to Satanism because we actually are gods. But we are gods because we're actually just God. So when I become God, right, by discovering my highest self, right, it's the same God that's also inside you and everybody else. A Satanist, though, says that there is no God that made everything and everyone else. So therefore, you are your own God. So in Satanism, when you become your own God, you become your own God, and you would be your own God. It would be two separate gods. In Christianity or spirituality or any real religion that is actually practicing what's supposed to actually practice, when you become one with God, it's the same God inside everybody else. You become one with everybody and everything. In Satanism, you become separate from everybody and everything. You feel me? So that is the big line that's being crossed because with that whole we are God teaching, there's also the personal gratification thing. And that's getting really bad because people are doing manifestation, astral projection, and all kinds of shit just for personal gratification, bro. And the thing is, right, when it comes to these higher spiritual abilities, these things are usually supposed to be gifts that are supposed to be used to serve God and not things that are supposed to be desired and sought after in order to satisfy your ego. You feel me? And that is where the line is being crossed heavily because as you start crossing that line into personal gratification, you may start talking to shit that is not so very nice. You feel me? You may start talking to shit that's a bit more dark and sinister that will still help you get what the fuck you want, but now you gotta pay a price of interacting with this dark ass being. So new spirituality, bro, gotta be careful with that shit, bro. In my opinion, bro, just find out what the fuck spirituality actually is and then just follow that shit. Because this whole new age shit, it just seems like they're being told, meditate, get herbs, crystals, and yeah, you feel me? Which is not even bad if you know what the fuck you're doing with that shit. But most people are not doing the right thing. So either they're trying to do witchcraft that is not used to fight off other witches, because there are witches that will try to attack you, and it would be helpful to know witchcraft to attack them back. However, witchcraft for your own ego is like, You may start breaking some laws, not even knowing that shit, because you're trying to pretty much force your will on the universe when the universe does not want that shit. Now using all this extra shit that just to satisfy your ego, and it's like, damn, bro, that shit may cost a price. On top of that shit, right? Even if you're not trying to motherfucking like manifest some shit or do some witchcraft shit or something like that, even with just like taking herbs and using crystals and meditating and stuff like that, right? If you do the wrong thing, you could fuck around and just end up talking to some negative being. I'm not even saying you're trying to do some ego gratification shit. I'm just saying that you're trying to be on some spiritual shit, some nice shit. You're just doing this shit, and you just randomly encounter a being that you think is positive, but it's actually negative type shit. You feel me? Because new age spirituality has no spiritual system behind it. Back in the past spirituality, there's spiritual systems behind this shit. There's philosophy, there's you have religious spiritual systems, you have all that shit behind this type of stuff, you feel me? So therefore, when people practice spirituality back then, when it was the only thing there before even modern day religion, back then when they practiced that shit, there was actually a system that actually allowed them there was a system that actually allowed them to evolve properly and obtain a pure heart and become one with the source, God, all that shit. You feel me? But this new age shit, there's no real structure to this shit. It's just a whole bunch of random practices to say, here, do this in order to achieve this result and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, that shit is starting to cross the line to Satanism, bro. Be very careful, bro, because some of these new agers, bro, are holding the same beliefs as these Satanists. And this self-worship shit, you should worship the self. But the self is not the character. The self, the true self, is God, the source, which is deep down inside you and all of us. You should worship that. But worshiping the self as the character, that's not okay, because now you're just worshiping your ego, your character. Now I'm worshiping quote unquote John. And it's like, bro, John's not my highest aspect, bro. To worship John would be to literally be an abomination to the fact that John's not even worthy of worship. You feel me? John would only become worthy of worship if John became unified with God. At that point, there is some ability to be worshipped there, but I'm worshiping the God self, not the John self. You feel me? And that's like it's not like I'm saying that someone else should worship that shit. I'm saying that I should worship the God self inside of me, my true highest self that's connected with you and everything else around me. I shouldn't be trying to gratify this character John that's separate from everybody though, and say, hey, I'm so great, I do all these things, nigga. I should worship myself because I'm just such an amazing human. Like, nah, nigga. It should really be, I want to worship the divine source within inside myself so that I can express that to everybody else and everything else. I could actually connect to people because we are all one and all that type of shit. And yeah, I hope you get what I'm saying. Watch that new age shit. Yeah, you may end up talking to demons.